Welcome, fellow bookworms, to Tibra's Den. My name is Whitney, and we are on week 2 of our 31 days of Halloween. Today is Saturday, October 8th, and I don't really have an update for yesterday because I ended up not reading. I read a little bit before bed, like 40 some pages right before bed. But past that, I didn't read anything. Since I was on the computer editing and such, I decided to play The Sims instead of read. I wasn't feeling it after Dracula. I needed kind of a day just to let my mind rest. So that's what I ended up doing. It is early. It is just shy of 6 o'clock right now. I've been up since 3 and decided to just go ahead and start my day. It's been raining all evening, which is fantastic. We finally are getting some rain here. It was supposed to rain the last couple days and it didn't, but it started yesterday evening and has gone on all night. And it's supposed to rain all day today, and then the next couple days we're supposed to get a little bit as well. So I'm enjoying it. The dogs are enjoying it a little bit. They like that it's nice and cool, and so that makes them frisky, but they don't want to go outside to go potty because it's raining and they might melt. So that's always a challenge, but we have needed this rain for sure. So that's great. And it's perfect for today because I can just have a nice, cozy reading day. I'm going to make myself some hot chocolate, maybe some tea a little bit later, some hot tea, and just settle in. And I have a stack of books that I'm going to talk about right now. Obviously, I'm not going to get to all of these today. I'm just not sure which ones that I want to prioritize today and how the day's going to look. So I thought I would just talk about all of them. But yeah, it's perfect day to just snuggle in. I'm not planning on doing any chores or anything like that, so I'm not going to be listening to the audiobook I'm working on, which is Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. I've only listened to an hour and I really want to get back into it because I really enjoyed it, what I listened to so far. But I have certain times when audio work for me and I just don't have any plans to do anything that work with audio today because I'm not doing any chores. I'm just going to enjoy the rain and snuggle in. So, but let's go ahead and talk about what I do hope to read. So, first up is The Island of Dr. Moreau. So, I did read about like 46 pages or something last night. The pace on this is really, really quick. Like, I only read it for like 20 minutes. Um, and so I'm pretty confident that I'll fly through it. I was enjoying it when I was reading. It was just right before bedtime. It was already late. And so my eyes didn't want to stay open. But based on the writing and the pacing and everything, I'm really confident that I will finish this up first thing this morning, no problem. So that's up first. And then I do want to go ahead and read the 2 teen books that I wanted to read yesterday, which of course I didn't get to. And so I'm starting with 8 Bates because I only have 2 by this author. So we have Mother's Helper and then The Dead Game. And again, these are going to be really, really quick and easy. All of these are right around 200 pages, but they're short. They're, um, not very big books, and the writing's, a good size as well. So hopefully can get these 2 knocked out as well, which I'm pretty confident again. And then I was going to watch The Midnight Club on Netflix yesterday because it came out yesterday. And I ended up starting the first episode again right before bed. But it deals with terminally ill teens, and it just wasn't quite in the right headspace right before bed to watch it. So I am planning on watching that today, at least a couple of the episodes. And then if I am going along well with my reads, I do want to read the book by Christopher Pike that the show is based on. And so I'm hoping to get to that too. And then if I have time, I want to read Halloween Night by R.L. Stine, just because this is one of my picks for the bingo board. Amy at A Star Reads. Again, now her channel, video, the bingo board will all be linked down below. But I put this on for, I think, black or orange on the cover. And so I put this one on. And so I'm hoping to get to that one right away, knock that off as well. And the Island of Dr. Moreau is also on the bingo board, so hopefully I can knock out 2 of those. And then my plan is today to watch Practical Magic. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. I've seen it more times than I can count, and it's been maybe a couple years actually since I last watched it. It's been a little while, which is surprising because normally I watch it a couple times a year. Um, and so yeah, I want to watch this, and then I need to get to reading the books I checked out from the library. So I checked out Practical Magic and The Rules of Magic, which are by Alice Hoffman. And so The Rules of Magic actually follows the ants and takes place before Practical Magic, but I'm probably going to read Practical Magic first and then jump into this one. They didn't have the other two, which I'm not really interested in the last one. I can't remember what it's called, but again, I'll put it down below. But I do want to read Magic Lessons, I believe is the first one, because it goes back to the origin of the curse. But they didn't have that at my library. They only had these two, so I'm hoping to read those. And then like I said, I doubt I'll get through all those today. Maybe all the little teen horrors and Dr. Moreau, and maybe Practical Magic. But if by some miracle I just have a fantastic reading day, of course I need to get to Duncton Wood again. I've only read 3 little parts of it. I tabbed it out. Just to make it easier to get through, and I haven't read it for a couple days, so I doubt I'll get to this one today, but if I don't today, I'm definitely going to read at least one section tomorrow. What I'm hoping to do is to fly through the rest of these and then be able to knock out like 3 or 4 sections of this in one go. But it just depends on how my reading goes with the rest of them. But like I said, I'm pretty confident with the shorter books. They're gonna go quickly. I'm just not sure the pacing on Practical Magic and the Rules of Magic. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm looking forward to just a nice, cozy reading day with the rain. Like I said, I'm going to make myself a little bit of hot chocolate and just enjoy this cooler weather because it's still been hot here. And so it's nice to finally have some cooler weather. So that is the plan for today. Like I said, I don't know how much I'll get through because since I have been up since 3 a.m., um, I might end up taking a nap and not reading near as much as I want to. So we'll see, but you'll find out in just a second how I did, and I'll be back tomorrow morning to let you know and then let you know my plans for the day. So I'll see you in just a moment. All right, we are on day 9 and did not read as much as I wanted to yesterday. I did end up taking a nap since I was up so early. Um, Read a little bit of The Island of Dr. Moreau, and then I ended up taking a little bit of a nap, and then I ended up watching the Midnight Club on Netflix, and then I watched Practical Magic, which generally I read while I watch shows or movies and such. But yesterday I just kept zoning into the show, the Midnight Club, and then when I watched Practical Magic, that's one of my favorite movies, and I hadn't seen it in a while, so I ended up just fully watching it instead of reading. And then we also went into town. Neither one of us felt like cooking, so we just drove into town to get some food yesterday, which is 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back, plus the time spent in town. So, yeah, did not read near as much as I wanted to, and I definitely could have. The teen thriller books, I ended up reading only one of those, but it was so quick and easy. Like, I could have gotten through all of them if I had just read instead of napping and watching shows and such. But I did finally finish The Island of Dr. Moreau. I say finally, it really didn't take me that long to read. I did finish this and actually surprisingly enjoyed it overall. So I'm excited to talk about this when I do that video. So yeah, read that. That one's done, and then I was able to get to one of the teen thrillers. I read Mother's Helper right before bed. Really, really super easy to read. This one is about this teen girl who takes a job babysitter, but she's essentially a nanny. She's hired, just to watch this kid, and the kid and her mom or his mom are in hiding, essentially. So it's all very mysterious, and there's kind of something more sinister going on. So that one was it was a fun read. Excuse me. It just wasn't like the most amazing book ever, but it was fun. It was quick, perfect for the season. So today I'm going to start with the other A. Bates novel, The Dead Game. Basically, these three seniors decide to get back at some people, and to kill them, you need to embarrass them in public. But that's not what happens. So I'm going to start with this one, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and read The Midnight Club just so I could refresh myself. This is probably one of the slightly bigger teen novels. It's just over 200 pages, but it should still be a quick, easy read. And then I don't know, I might go ahead and squeeze in Halloween night. We'll see what time it is, because by this evening I want to get started on practical magic for sure. So we'll see how long it takes me to get through those. If I can do it, all three this afternoon, great. And then I'll jump on to practical magic. Otherwise, I'll just read the two, and Halloween night will be saved for tomorrow. We'll just see how it goes. So, but I definitely want to start practical magic today, and then depending on how that goes, I doubt I'll finish this one today. But we also have the rules of magic, just like yesterday. These are all the same books that I talked about. Duncton Wood, though, I'm not going to read at all today. I'm just going to kind of put it aside for now until I get these two read, and then I'm going to devote a whole day to this and just see how many sections I could get read in a whole day, and then kind of go back to breaking it down by sections. So this one's going to be put on hold for now until I can get these two read, because one, I need to get them read for video, and two, they need to go back to the library. I think I've had them about a week now, so I have 2 more weeks with them. I need to get them off my list, and I need to go to town this week anyway, so I want to finish these so I can go ahead and return them, because I don't like waiting until the last minute. So reading plan's pretty much the same as yesterday, and we'll see what I knock out today. I'm not planning on watching any shows or anything today. I'm just going to focus on the book. And then this evening before bed, I'll put on something Halloween inspired. I'll probably watch another episode of The Midnight Club, honestly, probably right before bed. So that's the plan for today. I will see you in a second and tell you how I did since the last week, and then starting this week, I'm not doing as good as I had hoped. But I'll be right back and let you know, what I'm reading tomorrow. So all right, it is day 10, and didn't have as good of a day as I could have yesterday, but I did get some reading done, so it's something. Um, One of the reasons I realize that I'm really struggling right now is I have to take Anya into the vet tomorrow for her vaccines, just a yearly appointment and such. But every time I have to take the dogs or a cat in, I end up having dreams about the veterinary clinic, and normally they're very stressful dreams for me. Not nightmares, but stressful. And so I haven't been sleeping well because of that. That's been on my mind, and I have been having dreams about the veterinary clinic again. So I've been pretty tired because of that. And so I'm just not like, I keep zoning out, or I'm watching a movie instead of reading or whatever. And so that's tomorrow, and then hopefully I'll be able to kind of pick up the pace a little bit. But I was able to read The Dead Game by A. Bates. Read this throughout the day. Struggled a little bit towards the end because I was, again, just really tired and just wanted to take a nap. But I did enjoy this one. I like this one a lot better than Mother's Helper by this author. Um, I thought this one was a little bit more in the realm of possibility and a little bit better thought out and plotted out. So basically, you have these three friends, and they decide to get revenge at like the cheats and the liars and such of their senior class. And so they come up with this game called the Dead Game, where they're just supposed to embarrass these people publicly, but it ends up turning deadly. So this one was a lot funner than Mother's Helper and a little bit more believable. And I actually enjoyed this quite a lot. And then I was able to get a good chunk of Practical Magic read. It's just over 200 pages, and I just have about 50 pages left, a little over. I think closer to like 60, but not bad at all. And this is really fast paced. Like, I started it not too long before bed and was able to get through it really quickly. I did struggle to read this in the evening. Like, I started it in the evening, but I didn't really knock out a good portion of it until bedtime. I read it for about 2 or 3 hours at bed and knocked out most of it. So, because we ended up watching Silent Hill, which I've never seen, and my husband had. He put that on, and then we watched The Descent 2, which I got it mixed up with some other movies that I had watched. Excuse me, got a tickle in my nose. But I remember enjoying The Descent. It took me a minute to grasp which one it was because I remember watching this one where there was like this old mine and this town was like trying to keep people out and such. I thought it was that one, but it was a different one with all like these females, uh, which I remember because they had flashbacks and such, so it kind of jogged my memory. And I remember actually really, really enjoying that one. They go like into this cave system, and then of course there's some monsters there, and so The Descent 2 was like that as well, and absolutely enjoyed it. Like, I love movies like in caves and such. So anyway, we watched that, and so I didn't get much reading done because I was just zoning out watching the movies. But like I said, I did get a good chunk before bed, and I only have, like I said, just a little bit left to go. So I'll knock this out first thing this morning, get this read. That should be easy because, like I said, it's really fast paced and really easy to read. And then next, I do want to pick up the Midnight Murder Club, or the not Murder Club, the Midnight Club. Um, this one, of course, I wanted to try to read yesterday, and I just decided after reading The Dead Game I wasn't feeling it. And so I switched over to Practical Magic, which I barely read at all until bedtime. So, like I said, I could have had a better day yesterday. I definitely could have gotten this read. I could have maybe finished Practical Magic if I had just focused, but it is what it is. So, this one I want to read today. This is just over 200 pages as well. But again, short little teen horror should be quick. So that's on the list. And then my next goal, depending on how I do with those, like I said, I am kind of tired today, so I don't know if I'm going to be zoning out, taking a nap later, or what. But as long as I get through those pretty quickly, I'm going to jump into Duncton Wood by William Horwood because I have not made any more progress. I've read the 3 sections and haven't made any more progress on it. So definitely want to jump back into this one. The story's really still stuck in my mind, and I keep wanting to get back to it, but I just keep picking up other things over it. And then, depending on where the day is, I would like to start the Rules of Magic, um, which follows the ants from Practical Magic. This one I was hoping to read by tomorrow so I could drop these off at the library when I take Anya in, but that's obviously not going to happen. And I still have until the 20th, so I have 10 more days. And I do have to go back into town later on this week to go grocery shopping, so I'll have that finished by then because if I don't read it today, I will read it tomorrow after I get back from taking Anya to the vet. So that I'll get to this one, but I know I should be able to finish these two even if I have a slow reading day, and I'm definitely hoping to read another section of that one. So that is it. That's the update for today, and I will let you know what I end up doing tomorrow, and then what I'll probably read tomorrow. And I don't know what scary show or movie I'm going to watch tonight. I might go ahead and watch another episode of The Midnight Club because I really was enjoying that. But I was really absorbed into it. And so that one, it's kind of hard for me to read and watch it like I normally do just because I was really enjoying the show so much. So we'll just see how it plays out and I will let you know in just a second. All right, we are on day 11. It's actually about noon right now. I had to take Anya in this morning to the vet for her vaccinations, and she was such a good girl. I was a little bit worried because she does tend to react to things, and as a puppy, she was really reactive to other dogs and such. But she was a perfect angel. There was another little dog in there. She didn't bark at it at all. The dogs were barking in the back, not a peep. She was nervous. She was sitting there shaking and panting, but she didn't bark at all. I had her treats, and so she just kept wolfing them down and looking around all wide-eyed. But she's definitely come a long way. I've worked a lot on her confidence over the past year, and it definitely shows. So she did fantastic. We're back home now. As far as yesterday went, I did end up finishing up Practical Magic, so this book is finito. But yeah, this one's done. And then I also was able to read The Midnight Club by Christopher Pike. I did not end up watching any more of the show like I had wanted to. Um, for my spooky movie, we ended up putting on this like 80s movie called Fright Night, which was very cheesy. We didn't watch the whole thing because I was ready for bed. Um, and so we just watched about an hour of it. It was really cheesy, but it was fun too. So we watched a little bit of that, and then I also watched Gab. I'll leave her channel linked down below. It's a gaming channel. She was playing this horror game. I think it's called Horror Story Wine. I think I don't know. It was creepy, and so I kind of count that as my spooky watch too. I love watching like gaming channels when they play like horror games too. That's like my favorite time of year. So I watched that and I count that a little bit as well. So didn't really push myself tomorrow. Probably could have read Duncton Wood if I had. So this one is still just hanging out. Not going to read it today at all. My main plan today is this morning I did start Halloween Night by R.L. Stine. Got about 40 pages in, and it's about 180 something pages. 184 pages it looks like. 85. So I want to finish this up. This should be a really quick read. I shouldn't be a problem on that. And then my main goal today is to read The Rules of Magic because I do need to go to the grocery store and I want to return these. So I don't have to worry about going into town next week at all, which is when they're due. So that's my plan. I got some work to do on the computer. So while I work on the computer, I'm planning on listening to Daughter of No Worlds. I listened to about an hour of it last week and just haven't had a chance to listen to it since. I wanted to listen to it this morning, but I was all stressed out about Anya and the vet clinic because I used to work in the vet clinic, and I don't know, it just triggers. So I didn't listen to it at all this morning, but I am going to listen to it while I work on the computer this afternoon a little bit, and then I'll jump into my two reads. So that is the goal for today. And I'm glad, like I said, I finished up the two main books that I was hoping to yesterday because I have a video that I'm going to film right after this that involves those two books. And so I wanted to make sure I got them read so I could film it today, get it up tomorrow. So yeah, that is the plan for today. Hopefully I'll have a good reading evening, afternoon, evening, after I'm done on the computer. And I will see you in just a moment for tomorrow's update and what I'm reading then. So I'll see you in a moment. All right, we are on to day 12. And yeah, yesterday did not get a whole lot done as far as reading goes. I was productive in other ways all day. But I took Ani to the vet in the morning and then I was on the computer for the rest of the day doing my adaptation video, battle video, and then I also have a project I've been working on that I wanted to get the computer part done because I want to start it in the new year, but with the holidays coming up, I wanted to make sure I could just get it done and have it ready to go. And so I was on the computer most of the day, so I did listen to a good chunk of Daughters of No World. I think I'm down to 10 or 11 hours. I can't remember exactly because I looked at it and then I listened to a little bit more. But somewhere in that range, like I knocked out 3 to 4 hours of the audiobook, which is great. Still really enjoying it. And so hopefully I can listen to that again soon. And then I did finished reading Halloween Night by R.L. Stine. This was a fun little teen horror. You have three friends, and the main character, her cousin, has moved in, and they have this murder mystery assignment for English, and so they decide to kill her cousin. But then they want to take it to the next level, but there's this twist at the end. So not bad. The logic behind the reasons why and such were a little lame in my opinion, but it was just a fun little teen horror. So that one I got done as well. And then I did read at bedtime. I read about half of um, Road to Nowhere by Christopher Pike. I knew I didn't want to jump into this at bedtime, just because it was late, and so I chose to save this for today and then start this one. And so I'm gonna finish it up. Like I said, I got halfway through the book, so I'll knock the rest of the book out today, and then hopefully I can read a good chunk, if not all, of The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman, because I want to go grocery shopping tomorrow. Since I'm going to be going into town, I want to take these and return them. So if I don't get this read all today, then I'll have to put off grocery shopping and finish this tomorrow. But fingers crossed. I don't know how it will go because I had really bad insomnia again last night, and I just could not go to sleep. So I'm dragging a bit today. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that um, I'll have a good reading day despite that. I'm wearing my grumpy shirt because I'm a bit grumpy today too. And so, yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. As far as our spooky movie that we watched yesterday, we finished up the 1980, I think it's 85 version of Fright Night. And then they had a 2011 version as well. So my husband started that one, even though the first one was a bit much, very cheesy. So we watched a little bit of the 2011 version of Fright Night, and we'll probably end up finishing that one up today. So yeah, that's the movie we watched, and I'm gonna go ahead and get to it, and I'll see you in just a bit. All right, so we are on day 13. Yesterday was not a good day. You guys know I've been struggling these last 2 weeks, which seems like every month I have either the first 2 weeks or the last 2 weeks where I really, really struggle. So hopefully this is the case. I'm struggling the first 2 weeks, so I'll fly through the last 2 weeks. But yeah, the only thing I got read yesterday was the last half of Road to Nowhere by Christopher Pike. I had read half of it the day before, and so I only had like 100 pages left, and it took me all day. It should have only taken me a couple hours with the smallest this book is. And I didn't finish this until right before bedtime. We did go to bed early because I wasn't feeling well and my husband was just tired. And so we did go to bed early, but still, that was not a good reading day at all. Right before bed, I did start The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman, and then I read a little bit more this morning. So I've read about 43 pages right now. So this is my main priority today because I desperately need to go to the store. We're running out of things at this point. And so I want to go to the store tomorrow for sure. So I want to get this finished so I don't have to do a return trip next week to return these to the library. But we will just see how it goes because I had another bad sleeping night. I had really bad insomnia again. Once I fell asleep though, I did sleep fairly well. I was having weird dreams. And then I also just don't feel good today. I wasn't feeling good last night. We tried like this noodle place because my husband had to run and do some paperwork, and so he's like, is there anything where I'm going that we don't have near us and I can pick it up? And so we tried noodles and dumplings, I think. I don't know, there was a bunch of them all around the city where he had to go, but it just really upset my tummy, and so I just haven't been feeling well. So I did sleep in though, so I did get sleep because even though it took me a while to fall asleep last night, I was able to sleep in and get some sleep. So we'll see if I can focus enough to read this. But that's the only thing that I have on the agenda today. I'm not gonna try to overburden myself. Um, if I fly through this, the pacing feels good in this, like it did in Practical Magic, and so if I do fly through it, then I might pick up one of the teen horror books, or I might read Duncton Woods since I haven't made any more progress on that. We'll just have to see how the day goes. As far as spooky movie slash show, we ended up finishing the 2011 version of Fright Night, which was a lot more enjoyable. Like I was actually watching it instead of being like, "Oh, is this movie over yet?" So it was a lot more enjoyable than the 80s version of the of Fright Night. Um, but it was still a little cheesy, but yeah, I don't mind a little cheese as long as I can enjoy it. So we finished watching that. I'm not sure what we'll do today. I might just watch the Midnight Club, and then this evening we can watch whatever. Um, the Labyrinth is also one I want to watch this spooky season because I think it has the right vibes. So I might watch that one as well. I don't know. My husband doesn't want to watch that one. He's never seen it though, and he doesn't want to watch it. I'm like, you've never seen it, you can't judge it. So anyway, we'll just see where the day takes me, and I'll be back in a moment for tomorrow, which is the final update of week 2. I can't believe we're already halfway through the month almost, but hopefully the next 2 weeks will be good because that's kind of the way my months have been going. I have a couple weeks where I just drag and they're not so good, and then I have a couple weeks where I fly through. So we'll just have to see what happens, but I will be back in just a moment. All right, so we are on day 14, which is the last day of week 2. And I did get the main book that I wanted to read, which is The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman. This is a prequel to Practical Magic. It was written after the fact, but it is a prequel to it. This follows the ant stories. And I enjoyed the story and the writing and everything. My problem with this was there were several things from Practical Magic that didn't line up with this one, which really irritated me. And it was kind of frustrating too because a lot of like the small details she put in here. So she connected the books in that way, but then some of the major details she completely changed. So in one instance in Practical Magic, I kind of found the pages again so I could just kind of go over it. So on page 21/22, the sparrow gets in, which she did mention in Rules of Magic. But in Rules of Magic, Frances has an affinity for birds, and so she just like calls it, and they land on her hand, and then she releases them. And then at the end, it mentions that I think Sally, I'm pretty sure, has an affinity for birds. But in Practical Magic, they're having to get the broom and try to chase it out. And it's like, okay, but in this one, they can just call it down and let it go. So that didn't really line up. And then as far as Rules of Magic is very much like a love story. I mean, it's the ants' lives, from the time they're kind of young and children into when Sally and Jillian show up. So it's their whole lives. And in this one, it talks about the two brothers that they loved that got struck by lightning. And that was basically like their only love. Where that's not the case in Rules of Magic. Those two brothers, they weren't in love yet or anything like that. The brothers probably thought they were, just based on how the story goes. Like the Owenses are so beautiful, everybody just falls in love with them. But it's a very minor part. Like they were barely meeting them for the first time. Jillian met them like while she was out, and then convinced Sally to come out to meet with them. But it was storming, and they were running across to meet the girls and got struck. Where it made it seem like that was their big true loves, and then they got struck by lightning, and they're still buried, and blah blah blah, and the ants still mourn for him. Which in this one, like I said, it's a very minor part, and then two other characters are the main love interest for the ants, which I like that. I enjoyed that part of the story, but it was just kind of frustrating because that's not what was alluded to in here. And so, if you're going to stay true and it's going to be a series, you need to, honor that. And she could have made the love story with the two boys more epic in some way. I don't know, but it's like just little inconsistencies because this one was written first, and yes, this one, was probably just a quick like I just want to do a standalone series, never, or a standalone book, not thinking she was ever going to write anymore. And then when she got down to it and she's doing a prequel, she decided she wanted a more epic story for the ants, because the ants don't really play too big of a part in here. They're there in the beginning and then at the end. And so then she's kind of expanding on that, and she's having to be inconsistent with what she wrote in Practical Magic. So that was kind of frustrating, but it was what it was. So that is what I read. That's the only thing I read yesterday. Um, I probably could have busted it out a little bit quicker, but I ended up kind of taking my time with it and just got it done and enjoyed it instead of trying to rush it. So that's all I got read yesterday. Today, kind of have a busy day. It's already later. I didn't feel good yesterday and still not feeling great this morning. But I gotta go into town. We're running out of like toilet paper and such, so I have to go into town today. And then I want to get this video edited and uploaded, so I'm probably not going to get a lot of time to read today, and I'm not sure what I'm going to go with. It's either going to be The Hollow Places by Kingfisher, because I've been so looking forward to this book. This author is one I've been wanting to read for several months now, and this is a book I ended up picking up for my pre-birthday book haul, and so I'm really, really excited to get to this one. So it depends on when I finally get to sit down to read, whether I'll start this one or not. If it's kind of later, I'll probably go with another teen horror book, and I'll go with Beach House by R.L. Stine. That's the one I'm leaning towards. Um, it's starting to cool off here, so I kind of just want to get this one read while it's still a little bit warm and such. So I'm not sure, like I said, how much time I'll have to read, and I doubt I'll finish either one of these um is tonight, but I at least want to start one of these. I just don't know. Like I said, it kind of depends on how late it is at night, which one I end up going with, and which one I'm kind of feeling. So that is the plan. Like I said, it's a busy day. I am going to listen to Daughter of No Worlds while I'm in the grocery store because it kind of helps with my anxiety. So I'm going to do that and then come home, knock out some stuff, and then sit down to read. So that's the plan. Let me go over real quick what I did end up reading for this whole week. So first up, we read Mother's Helper by A. Bates. Then we read The Dead Game, also by A. Bates. Those are the only two A. Bates books I had. So I read both of those. I read The Island of Dr. Moreau by H.G. Wells. Then I read The Midnight Club by Christopher Pike. I read Halloween Night by R.L. Stine. I read The Road to Nowhere by Christopher Pike. And I read Practical Magic and The Rules of Magic, both by Alice Hoffman. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8 books read this week. Could have done better for sure. I also listened a little bit to Daughter of No Worlds, but I did not get to Duncton Wood at all, which I started last week. So that was a little bit of a shame. But we'll see how this next week goes. A little over 2 weeks left. 2 weeks and some days. So we'll just see how these next 2 weeks go. I mean, not a terrible first 2 weeks, but I definitely need to up the pace if I'm gonna get the chunk of these books read. I also wanted to add, I've been thinking about the Dresden Files, and I don't think I'm gonna read those. Like every time I think of them, I still just kind of like I don't want to. So, and they're both over 600 pages. So those two books I probably won't read at all. I'm not even gonna try. But we'll see once I get to that point. They're going to be the last on the list though, because I'm just not feeling them. I got so burnt out, and then after reading Ghost Story, I'm just still not feeling them. I really wanted to finish the series this year, but I don't want to push myself too hard on it. And so those, if I don't read them this month, I'm definitely gonna just save them for next year, because honestly, I just burned out on that series. So I did want to mention that though, so that will drop down it to 36 books, but I did also add Daughter of No Worlds. And then depending on where I'm at with my reading, I still really do want to get to Crest by Marissa Myers. So but I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys here. I will be back tomorrow to start week 3 and we'll see what I do next week. So happy reading, everyone. Bye.